Olá a todos, bem-vindos a mais uma conversa da Look Mag. Hoje tenho o enorme prazer de ter comigo Jane e Aor dos Imperial Age. A banda vai passar por Lisboa no próximo dia 10 de abril e, se eu não me engano, agora fiquei de repente com a data um bocadinho aqui baralhada, mas eu acho que é abril, é de certeza, mas eu depois já coloco a data certa. E nada melhor para fazer a antecipação deste concerto do que falar com os dois fundadores, que têm uma história interessantíssima para nos contar e uma experiência de vida ainda mais interessante. First of all, Jane, Aor, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and welcome to our talks.
Thank you. We're ready, always ready to talk an indefinite amount of time on any amount of given topics. So feel free to ask the most weird and provocative questions.
And we will answer in the most weird and unexpected way.
Yes,
Okay.
Because the weirder the questions, the more views this video is going to get.
What did you have for lunch today?
He didn't.
I didn't have time to have breakfast or lunch yet because our interview is so early, 3 p.m.
Yeah, it's very early. You know, today in Portugal, it's kind of an holiday because it's Carnival, but you are not playing with Carnival, with masquerade and something like that, no?
Yes, we do. Every day.
My point is exactly the same. So for me, it's just like any other day. Tell me one thing. The band was founded in Moscow in 2012. And I would like to ask you,
what the fuck have you been doing all this time?
Yes.
No?
How did it all started? And when music came to your life, especially you two, and why did you move to London, to UK?
Oh, that's a lot of questions.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's a
three
lot of
questions.
basically
Three.
That's
The story of your life.
2 hours now.
I need coffee.
Drink it.
Cheers. You were asking about lunch.
Yes, your lunch. A little bit of coffee. How did it all started?
Jane.
Jane.
Because if I start telling the story, we will finish tomorrow morning. I have a 32-page band biography, which I still have not published to our website out of pity for our fans, because it will take them a long time to read it.
No, you have to do it in chapters. 1 month you do a chapter, the other month you do another chapter.
Good point, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Jane, let's go. Remember it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm probably the worst person to ask me to remember something, because my memory is just like a fish memory, I call it. It lasts 3 minutes.
With
something like that.
Seconds.
I don't know. I'm a evil fish. So I remember that this guy, he was doing music a few years before 2012. I don't know how long, but I remember that he has a previous band, and I was just hanging up with them, being to their rehearsals, watching them drink instead of rehearsing. It was like normal, standard amateurish band, like all teenagers had these bands. But at some point, he decided, why am I telling your story? He decided to disband this band, because no one was doing anything, actually.
As usual.
Yeah. And then in a few years, we decided to start a new project with a different approach this time. So we spent a few years planning the whole thing, like how we will organize it and all the stuff. And then, we created the band. We hired musicians. We recorded the first album. Yeah, I was a keyboardist back then. So that's how it started. That's the short version of
the short version. And the voice. Did you ever sing before? Did you had lessons to know how to sing?
No, before joining the band, I had probably 1 or 2 years with the teacher, with the piano teacher.
Piano teacher.
Not in the musical school. It was just a private tutor.
Yeah.
And only after a few years in Imperial Age, I started to take vocal lessons, also with the private tutors. And then I gradually switched from keyboards to singing. I still have vocal lessons because this is something that you cannot, fully learn. It is an endless process. So that's just private lessons. I have no musical education.
But you have a beautiful voice. That's
Thank you.
tons of luck. Aor, hello, my dear. Tell me one thing. Why Imperial Age as a name, and why the fascination about Atlantis?
Two completely different questions. Why Imperial Age the name? Well, because we were looking for a name that would, transfer the grandeur of the music. And basically, we spent like 1.5 years thinking about this name. Of course, we were doing other things in parallel.
Slow people, are we?
Yes, it wasn't the only activity we had over there in 1.5 years, but still. So, and also as a kid, I played Age of Empires a lot. So when those two ideas.
Age of Empires.
Oh, that's a good idea. But, yeah. So when those two things collided, you got this name. Now, when it comes to Atlantis, I had this fascination always. So like from childhood, not childhood, but from teenagehood, I've always been interested in this concept of there being a progenitor advanced civilization. And I was always interested in Egypt and in Sumer and in ancient civilization. I have a master's degree in history. I graduated from the historical faculty. And they did not let me study this topic, I can tell you. So,
really?
Of course, it's prohibited. It's forbidden history. So basically, despite the fact that there is plenty of hard evidence that all this existed, science it's a taboo topic. You're not allowed to talk about it because, it's like the paranormal abilities and magic. Like the CIA has tons of documents which they made public where they actually study all this phenomena and it's all real and everybody knows it exists. But science just refuses, to have any scientific studies about this. Same here. There are reasons for that. But, people always ask me, like, why do you write the lyrics the way you write them? When I say, when Taylor Swift writes lyrics, she writes about her boyfriends. Yeah? When, for example, the Millie Petrozza from Creator writes lyrics about social issues, he writes about what's close to him. She writes about what's close to her. So everybody writes lyrics about what's close to them and what's happening in their experience. Well, since this is close to me and this is what's happening in my experience, that's what I write lyrics about. If I were into physics, I would probably write songs about physics.
Like, about the universe.
Gravity's pulling me down.
Wow, we have a new song here. You moved to England. I know the first idea you had was moving to the United States. But then something happened, and we all know the war in Ukraine, and then you moved to England. Why did you choose to come to this part of Europe and not stay in your country?
Well, I think why we didn't stay in Russia is quite obvious, because it started the war against Ukraine, and it was no longer possible to operate from there. We would either probably have to get jailed or get into the army or find ourselves, some completely non-musical job. So that's a no-brainer. Where to go was a much bigger question. So
that's why we moved first to Turkey.
Yeah,
to have a year to think.
Yeah.
So we used this year to compare all the possibilities. And there were a few possibilities, UK, United States, and other European countries.
Actually, Portugal was number 3.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Because you have the D7 visa, and now you have the digital nomad visa. I think it's the D something. I don't know. D2.
But for us, for Russians, and for people from like similar countries, it's all about visas. It's all about the types of visas, whom you have to be, how much money you have to have in order to be allowed to stay in the country. So we compared the possibilities, and the United States is too expensive.
Too expensive.
To move there, it's
and also the requirements for the talent visa are even higher than in the UK.
Yeah. So we decided in favor of the UK. We applied for so-called talent visa. It is for artists, for musicians,
global talent.
Global talent, yes. Musicians, sports people, and scientists, and something like this. And we were allowed to come and live here.
That was a very good opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, we were getting kicked out of Turkey, like all Russians were, who got themselves a residency permit there. So we had to move fast. That was another reason.
Yeah.
So we thought that we could stay in Turkey as long as it takes, But then all of a sudden we realized that we had like 5 months, after which we need to move somewhere.
You need to move.
Okay, UK, go.
The other elements of the band, they stay there.
Yes,
they stay in Russia.
They are no longer part of the band.
Who are the musicians that currently are with you in the band?
Manuele, our drummer, he's still with us. And
he's Italian.
He's Italian, pizza guy. And after moving to the UK, we we published an announcement that we are in search for musicians, and now we have British guys with us.
Yeah, so we have the two Dans, Dan Queenie on bass, Daniel Carpenter on lead guitar, and Jonathan Hawkins on rhythm guitar. So basically, we had to renew the entire lineup. Luckily, the fans know that Imperial Age is the tour, so we didn't have those problems which bands often have. When they change musicians, and that was a difficult part for us. We didn't know how the fans would react, but it turned out really, really, really well, because over the years people learned to understand that as long as the two of us are alive, healthy, and free, the band is going to continue, and that the band is here.
And what has been like being in London? Do you like London? I love London.
We're not in London.
You're not in London? No. Where are you?
We're in the middle of nowhere.
We are in the middle. We are in between London and Birmingham, in a countryside.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, near Northampton.
Near Northampton.
Yeah.
Well, basically, you see, this doesn't look like London. That does it. So basically, we live in a 17th century cottage.
You're kidding?
Yes. This building is built in 1669. 17th century, in a village which has 20.
The closest to Atlantis that we could get.
Yes, I do understand now.
The village has 20 addresses. Basically, it's all listed, so it's all from the 17th century. And the nearest bus stop is 35 minutes walking away from here.
Jesus.
So basically,
convenience.
Yeah. So this is where we live. It's also a farm, a big farm, and
so we are surrounded by sheep.
By fields, forests, sheep. Yeah,
that's wonderful. And do you like live there? Do you like being there?
Yes, we like when there is no idiots around, because we're allergic to them.
And that happens a lot. Idiots come around.
No, only sheep.
And they are not idiots.
We don't communicate, so I don't know.
You should try. Aor, why not?
I tried once. We have a video. You remember I tried.
Yeah. But she didn't answer, right, Jane?
Oh, they just stand and look at you like
that.
Who the hell are you? Oh.
Probably I need to work more on my sheep language.
Yeah.
in
There are also badgers, deer, squirrels, rabbits.
That's
whatnot,
wonderful.
Are pheasants.
Yeah, wild chicken.
Yeah, so people come here in tweeds, with shotguns, driving huge Land Rovers, and several times a year they shoot these pheasants and then they eat them, and it's typical British countryside.
Typical British countryside. Now I can see that. Oh boy. Okay. In 2016, you went on a tour with Therion.
Yes, we did.
How was that experience? Kind of mind-blowing for you at the time?
Actually, I don't remember having any, over emotions, but
okay.
I can say I never get this. So I'm just like really a chill person. I never overreact, nor positively or negatively. So of course, it was, it felt like, you met your idols, because we were like really into Therion as a band. We were fans. We still are. So it was really cool to see our idols, to meet with them. But then when when it's week number 2, you no longer care. You just do, routine everyday stuff. You arrive, you set up the stage, you play, and it's like when the same things happen every day, you get into this routine. But it was really cool, and we still have people saying that, hey guys, I saw you in 2016 with Therion. And I'm like, oh
but
man.
Also in 2018.
And also yes. So it was really cool. It was for the band, as a band, it was really big step.
Yeah.
Because that was like our break into the international music scene. So that was really important.
Today I read something about you, and there are several media and press that says that you are one of the most relevant bands in contemporary symphonic metal. Do you feel that responsibility to be one of the best, to be one of the most important, and to know that perhaps there's a kid, perhaps there's a new band that looks up to you, like at those times you look up to Therion?
No, I think we're too small for that. Yeah, I think saying that we are a relevant band is a huge exaggeration. We will get there. Hopefully fast, hopefully within a year, but not yet. So there are much bigger bands out there that people are looking upwards to. So we always prefer to keep things true. So we like to brag about our achievements. We don't think there is anything wrong with saying the truth if you own it, but we don't like to exaggerate. And in this industry, so many people exaggerate, and so many people fake their achievements, and so many people blow things up. Like so many bands buy fake Spotify listeners and buy fake Instagram followers and stuff like that, and then that band goes on tour and they can't sell like 50 tickets.
Yep.
And this happens all over the place. So whenever you start telling somebody about your achievements, you can see in their eyes that they're dividing it by 10 in their mind because they don't believe you.
Everyone is used to it.
Yeah, because if you say like we've sold this amount of CDs, like if you say
no one believes.
Yeah, we sold like 1,000 CDs. Let's say people think, he probably sold 100.
I can tell you what, we sometimes we now have this for like a few years already. And we had it back in Russia, and we still sometimes, very rarely, but still, we still have it now. Some people, like our friends, maybe not friends, acquaintances, when we talk to them, some of them, and we tell them, we live from the band. Like, we don't have a day job. All that we do is the band, and
for the past 5 years.
Yeah, and it pays for the house, for the food, for everything. And you know what they answer? I don't believe you.
Yeah.
That's
Really?
all.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Some people think, for example, that I have a rich Russian father. Seriously. Yeah. My father is a professor of mathematics in Glasgow University. Just to make it clear. Yeah, he's not rich. He has a good salary, but he's not rich. Also, it has nothing to do with us moving to Britain because, unlike in the EU, according to UK law, once you're 21 years old, you cannot get a visa because your family lives here. Yep. It doesn't work that way because your ancestors, because your parents live here. Even now, people have problems bringing their spouses here. So no. But seriously, I've seen this so many times, I really stopped caring. You just tell people how things are, and either you see in their eyes that they think that you're bullshitting them, or they tell you straight away, I don't believe you. Oh, been there, done it, don't care anymore.
You know one thing, when I was preparing this interview, this talk between we three, and I was on the other computer here in the house, and my husband was on this computer, and he was preparing another interview that we are going to launch today, and I was discovering all the things about you, and I turned to him and I said, those guys are incredible, because if you look at the website they do, it's absolutely mind-blowing. The level of professional act, the kind of things that you do. When we look at your but it's really from my heart. Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. When I was discovering all the website and everything, and I thought, wow, this is good work. They know how to do it, and they have an objective, and they go. It's kind of a mission, and I was, wow, really. You deserve all the credit. Yes, you deserve all the credit.
It took me a lot of days to build that website.
Yes, I can imagine so. I was almost speaking in Portuguese, telling Agora. That's our mine. Your most recent album was released in 2022. It was composed in Russia?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
it
the
was.
one. It's a beautiful cover. Yeah.
This one.
Yes, it's a beautiful cover. And how was the album composition and the recording process? Because when we think about Russia, we don't know much about the country, to be true.
It has nothing to do with the composition and the recording process. Trust me, those things are the same. When I was writing these songs, it was COVID. So there was no full-scale war yet, but there was COVID. So New World, Legend of the Free, stuff like this, Shackles of Gold. It was a lot of this was a response to the world suddenly going into total lockdown, with all the rights completely trampled down and destroyed. So this was more like a cry for freedom in a world which all of a sudden started turning into 1984. So that was the major context. And if you look at the ship here, well, basically that's a metaphoric depiction of the world, which is rapidly, changing course from the past into the future. And nobody knows where it's going to end up.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you think after COVID, things were worse?
I think they evolved. I think first we had
good
COVID.
Or bad?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
First we had COVID. Then all of a sudden, it doesn't matter anymore because we have the war.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to end the war, but by the looks of it, it's not working very well, is it? No. And we don't know what's coming next.
And then began another war between Israel and Hamas.
Few of them, actually.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that we're out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
I would say that this might be only the beginning.
Only the beginning, yeah. I have to agree with you too. Gnosis. What do you want to transmit to us with that song?
This is my personal copy.
Wow.
Because it's sold out.
I think your fans now are, oh.
This vinyl is sold out, but this is my personal one. So yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the single, about the song.
Well,
this is a good song.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, it is.
No, which aspect do you want to hear about?
Everything. Everything.
You don't want to hear everything, trust me. Do you want to hear about the music or about the lyrics, about the ideological stuff?
About the lyrics, but also when I listen to the music, I kind of feel a little bit more of metal in here. Is it true? Is it possible?
Well, we consciously made this song different.
Yeah.
Because if you see on our previous albums, for example, if you compare The Legacy of Atlantis and New World albums, they are also different. So in New World, we tried to make our music more, dancey, more upbeat. But now with Gnosis, it's just the single, but still, we wanted to experiment with, with different musical styles. We decided to make it more heavy, to try to implement some elements from heavier genres. So we also included growls, and we included the guitars from what's the name of the music style that we tried to?
Various styles. I mean, if you listen carefully, you will hear that it's basically
a mixture.
What we were trying to do, we were trying to modernize symphonic metal. So basically, we were trying to mix it with the more modern styles, such as metalcore, deathcore, and stuff like that. And judging by the feedback that we got, I think we succeeded.
Is this single is the first step for a new album?
It's funny because
it is.
And at the same time, it is not, because
it is in a way that this single will definitely be a part of the new album.
It will be on the album.
But the fact that this song is written in this particular, style, in this particular way, doesn't mean that all songs on this album will be the same.
Yeah, so people are extremely funny. When I read comments online, people say, Imperial Age has changed style. Everything is going to be like this now. If the next song that we publish is going to be an acoustic ballad, will they say that Imperial Age is now country? So it's not that simple here. When people, I would advise everybody to wait, listen to the entire album. You will be very surprised. I can give you that. It's absolutely not what everybody expects. I can be 100% sure.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, because everybody has to pay attention and to be very, very analyze everything to see what comes with the Imperial Age.
No, don't analyze.
Analyze.
Sit back and enjoy, and let us carry you to whatever that place is.
You are going on a tour. Let's go, Jane. A good pint. You are going on a tour with the return of the Atlanteans Tour. Do you think it's a new chapter on the band trajectory, a new refreshment, and everything will be different from now on?
Why?
I don't know. Tell me.
Well, any new tour, any other tour is kind of a new chapter, a new step in any band's.
You see new toilets and new gas stations in the same country.
Some new toilets.
Yeah.
Because all others you have already seen before.
Huge diversity.
Yeah, but it will be the first, whole-scale tour with a new lineup.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
If they survive it.
Oh, poor guys.
But...
I'm sure.
In all other respects, it's just a tour.
The only one thing which I can tell you is that the ticket sales are way more than we ever had. So
Exactly.
for the first time in history, some of the shows are actually selling out. So we have projections that at least 4, maybe even 5 shows will sell out. You know, that's London, Paris, Lyon, Weinheim, Munich, and we've never had this before. So,
and this would be
that
would be a new chapter.
Yes. So right now, I'm being told by our agency that, look, guys, these and these cities are really selling fast. That's what we have not had before.
Do you think that happens because you are staged here in London or in UK?
I have no damn idea. I don't really know.
I don't think that there is anyone who knows actually the answer to this question.
No, but if you look at Spotify, for example, like 1 year ago, we had 50 monthly listeners. 50,000. Today we have 132. That's almost 3 times more, and it's growing. So I think it would be safe to say that over the past 1.5 years, the band has just grown. Like
a lot.
At least by 3 times. So you can see this everywhere, in the music sales, in the streams, in the ticket sales. That's how it should be, you know. Why has that happened? Well, probably because we finally settled here and we started doing something. So we, you know, before that, we had bigger fish to fry. We didn't have a place to live, you know. Now we have time to actually do the band. So it's probably that.
But the biggest impact will be when the new album will be done. So.
And when can we hear it?
I think it's going to be approximately, the entire album will be released 1 year from now. So it's going to be like February 2026. But you're going to be hearing at least one single every 6 weeks starting from May.
Starting from May?
Mm-hmm.
I hope everybody's pay attention for what Aor now says, because this is very important.
Yeah, because Aor is a time optimist, and it might be actually. We'll do what we can.
Do you intend to release the music with a video clip?
Depends. You know, so far we don't know, because like maybe 15 years ago was mandatory to have a music video, but in today's 22nd world, it's much more important to have 100 reels for one song and 100 TikToks for one song than it is to have one music video. So also those videos are free and the music video costs a lot. So let's see, we probably will have a few music videos for a few songs, but not for every single one of them.
Adam, tell me one thing. The music industry has changed a lot during the years. Now it's easier to release a song and to make a song. You can do it on your bedroom with your computer, and then you put it online. But for guys like you that live from music, it's more difficult now to go through that barrier of so many people releasing songs. Do you think it's a challenge to go and show your heart to everybody? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the industry has changed, of course, but everything has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is changing over time. That's the reality. That's how the world functions. And yes, you are absolutely right that in a modern reality, it is very easy. It is. It's very easy for everyone to compose something. It's just you have your computer or a laptop, you can do it in the bus, traveling somewhere, and it is easy to release it. You drop your music on Spotify, but I don't think that on one hand it creates enormous amount of tracks which are being released every day.
Yeah.
And you can say that it is very easy for a single person to drown in this pool of newly released music. And on one hand, you can say that it makes it harder for a musician to get through all this but on the other hand, people will still listen to good music and they will not listen for bad music. So as long as you write good stuff, which really, catches people's attentions, which makes them stay with you, and as long as you do promotion, because promotion is needed for everyone, for the best music ever. If without promotion, no one will know that this super music exists. You will find your audience. So that's what I think. What do you think?
I think that what we're having here is basically like this. 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, and all the way before that, the only way to get for a musician in front of people was to sign a record deal.
Exactly.
Why? Because the record labels controlled all the distribution. You couldn't go and place your records in record stores. You couldn't go and place your music videos on MTV, right? You couldn't go and book your own shows. Well, you probably could, but and like in the 80s, in the 90s, recording was an extremely expensive thing. So production was really, really expensive. So you needed money and you needed people with connections.
Yeah.
Okay, now over the past 15 years, the situation has changed like this completely. So all of a sudden, there are no gatekeepers. I mean, they still exist, but they are a dying breed. Like, if you look at what record labels are doing, it's obvious that they no longer understand how to break artists, because if they understood, they would do it.
Yep.
And all the new artists which become big, at least in the metal genre, it's not because of the record labels. It's because of what they are doing, and mostly because of what they're doing on social media. So today, anybody can release music, and this has led to a situation where you had a very small choice, but it was curated. To an absolute huge pool of everything, which is completely non-curated. Yeah. And even the streaming playlists are no longer curated by humans. They're curated by AI. And this AI creates individual playlists for everybody. So it's no longer even possible to pay somebody in Spotify like the record labels used to do and get your artist on that playlist. Well, they still own some shares, but only the bigger ones. So on the one hand, the competition is completely through the roof, Yeah. But on the other hand, everybody has a chance now, because 15 years ago, you had to depend on that guy, on that record label A&R, whether he specifically likes you or not. Yeah. And that's bullshit, because if you look at history, record labels have made so many mistakes. Like, it's common knowledge, like the band Queen, for example, they were declined record deals until they finally got one. And Beatles, same thing. And it's a very old story. Labels make mistakes all the time. And so everyone does. Yeah. And so you're no longer dependent on what those guys think about you. You can say, I'm going to make my own.
That's why you made your own
yes, exactly.
label.
We were declined by the record industry. They didn't want to work with us. So, there's a saying, why beg for a place at a table if you can make your own table?
Exactly.
So that's what we do. It's not because we wanted to, it's because we had to. And what I want to say is, because of this, the competition is so severe that now we have the opposite problem. So now every artist has the problem of cutting through the noise, and if previously they would do it for you, now you have to cut through the noise yourself. And this means that in today's world, it's not enough to be an artist. You also have to be a businessman. You also have to be an entrepreneur. You have to learn how to make websites, how to make videos, how to run social media, and all and all and all. And if you don't want to do this, someone else will. So a lot of people complain about it, but in my eyes, is just a different situation completely. And it requires a different set of skills, a different set of tools to navigate this situation.
And nobody, like people always don't like changes. When something changes, a lot of people start complaining. And a lot of artists now complain about how the industry changed, about like, I don't want to film stupid TikToks, I want to do music. But hey, changes are never easy, and it is the law of evolution. Our surroundings, they are changing like constantly, and we have to, if we want to survive, to adapt. To the new reality, we have to learn. So for us, like our strategy has always been like that. Like we see what's happening, and if we see that, okay, now we see that people started doing TikToks, they started doing videos. Okay, what does that mean? Regardless, do we want to do this or not? We have to learn it.
Yeah. For example, I personally hate TikTok. I think that it's super stupid. Like, if you want to have a measure of human stupidity, open TikTok. Okay, but my opinion is completely irrelevant. What matters for us is that this is an instrument, to get our music in front of people who might like it. So we go and we learn how it works, and we do it.
Another thing that I thought that I think that is very interesting about you, you have all the collaborations of your fans on the Patreon, on the co-founding, and that is important for you to feel like a community between you, the band, and the base of fans that you have. It's huge.
Any band who thinks differently is doomed. Absolutely.
Yeah, because the fans, they are the most important thing that any band has.
It's like people. I sometimes talk with colleagues, and it just blows my mind. Like when they don't want to talk to their fans, for example, or when they don't want to spend time for that. People don't understand. It's not the gatekeepers who are paying your bills. Exactly. It's the people who buy and stream your music.
Exactly.
Everything else is in between.
And when you make music, you make it for them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's not that you have a choice of, do we have a community or not? It's either you have it or go find yourself another job,
Howard, don't you think it's also a kind of respect for the fans when you talk to them, when you give them some attention?
Of course. I mean, that's like the most important people in our lives are our fans.
Yeah. You have.
It should be self-evident.
Yeah, it should be. You have a music festival. Tell me about that.
We had it.
You had it. You don't have it anymore.
Well, it was a good festival, and we are releasing a Live in London live album and video and everything from that festival. But I already told all the investors that, guys, if you want to do it next year, you must find somebody who's going to do it. So we are ready to put our brand on top of it, and play there. But that's it. Because I spent 2 months organizing it, and it was huge stress for me. I mean, it worked out in the end, and everything was well, but I spent 1 month recovering from it. Look, in those 3 months, I could have written an album. So I prefer to spend my time on that.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to organize it, feel free, but I'm not doing it anymore.
You're not doing it anymore. It's a lot of work.
It's just not the kind of work I want to do.
Yep. Yeah. You are coming to Lisbon, I've already said in the beginning to our listeners, our viewers.
We do. 10th of May, RCA CLUB.
Exactly. What can we expect from that concert?
You can expect a fucking amazing show. And it's also going to be hot.
Why? Why is going to be hot?
Because it's 10th of May and it's Portugal.
I know.
Yeah. And also, I want my portion of Confidenziale wine. I really like it.
Oh.
I personally am a fan of Portuguese wine, so mostly the wine I drink here is Portuguese.
That's wonderful.
Seriously.
I'm a fan too.
Yeah. Cool. Problem is, the wine we have here is like the tourist wine. It's not what you guys drink, but still. So what I wanted to say, it's going to be a cool show. We haven't been to Portugal in 1.5 years. Since no more, 2.5 years. 2.5 years since September 2022. So it's going to be a great and an amazing show. And we're bringing new decorations. We're going to have lights. We're going to have pyramids on stage. We're going to have a ton of stuff. We're going to have new costumes. It's going to be insane.
And new songs?
And new songs, of course.
Something to reveal from the new album beside Gnosis?
If we manage to learn them in time.
Okay. And what do you expect from us, Portuguese audience?
To come to the show.
Lots of screams, headbanging, jumping.
Just buying all the tickets you can.
And all the merch.
Then you find all your friends and acquaintances who didn't hide in time. And you buy tickets for them. And you bring them with you.
Like you said, it's not your first time in Portugal, and you already talked about the wine and food. Do you have a favorite food from
when I was 10 years old?
Yeah,
my father, who is a scientist, he worked for 3 months in Lisbon University, and we lived near Cascais for 3 months. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I don't remember. And so for 3 months, we lived in Portugal, and we traveled quite a bit. So I'm still very fond of the eucalyptus forests,
How is it related to the food?
And the food.
Well, for 3 months, we were eating.
And Cascais is very near the beach.
Yes.
I just thought you will talk about this.
And we went to Guincha Beach. I remember that one as well. And it was in the winter, not in the summer. So these huge Atlantic waves banging against the shore. Amazing. So actually, I want to come to Portugal as a tourist. Hopefully it's going to happen this summer because...
And eat some eucalyptus.
No, I'm actually very much...
You won't eat eucalyptus. Please don't. It's not good for you.
We had a lot of them in Turkey, actually. But I'm very much interested in the Templar order and in their history. And there are 2 countries in the world which have the most remaining Templar buildings. And that's England and Portugal.
Yeah.
And after the order was basically destroyed by King Philip the Beautiful of France, the Kingdom of Portugal offered refuge to the Templars. And basically, the entire order moved to Portugal. Yeah. And there are a lot of very, 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 very interesting magical places in Portugal. For example, the Castle of Tomar. And, for example, the well-known initiation well in Sintra, which was actually used...
You know our story very well.
For magical rituals. And a lot of very, very, very interesting occult stuff in there, which has to do with the Templars. So I hope that this year I will be able to finally visit Portugal, not just as a musician, but also as a tourist, and check out all these places. That would be amazing. And the food. And the wine.
Jane was talking about the food because I did ask you if you have a favorite food.
And he started talking about oceans
and eucalypts.
And Templars, as usual. That's typical.
Eucalyptus chips and a good wine. My dear Jane and Aor, it was a pleasure, so big, so great to have you here. I do admire you a lot.
Thank you.
I really do. I hope I know you are, but I really hope that you are really proud of your work and what the path that you have been doing, because you deserve all the credit and you deserve all the luck that the universe will bring to you.
Thank
Really,
you
I
so much.
really do. I really do. Thank you again. When you come to Portugal, have a safe journey here, and I'll meet you near the stage and I will say hello.
Perfect. What's that?
That's the way that we end our talk.
How do we do it? Hello. What is it reacting to? Dear AI, do fireworks. No.
No.
It's Ghost in the Machine. It has something.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everything. And I hope to see you in Lisbon.
See you there.
Thank you. See
On
you
the 10th
there.
of May, RCA CLUB.
Exactly.